I think that I should start to take this more seriously and don't mimic like if I have my mic muted or something like that. Hello everybody, GhostSenpai here, and this is Crash Bandicoot Warp. This is one of the best platforming games for me, and well, also one of the best PlayStation games that were ever released. I'm sorry about that at the beginning. Well, I just wanted to give it a try, and I thought that this was gonna be a good opportunity to try to make that people think that my mic wasn't activated. But well, any person not in Glitch, I'm gonna be explaining this during the run. But before I can start, I'm gonna do a little setup. This setup is gonna consist that I'm gonna make the crash loses life, because with this, the cycles get reset, so I can quit the game really quick and use the cycles on my side in order to begin with the second stage of the game. And well, I'm just gonna open something. I forgot to open, but the thing that I was trying to say when I muted myself naturally is that hello everybody, and then I'm GhostSenpai, and I'm really glad that RGL staff got me the opportunity of being featured in this new edition of the Retrothon Marathon. And this is something really special for me, and I'm gonna be telling you that at the end of the run. So let's assume that we're ready to begin. I'm gonna be the content creator. So 3, 2, 1, and let's begin with the part. And after that data abuse, I'm gonna be starting on the second stage of the game, Under Pressure, which now you're gonna be watching that I'm gonna be deactivating the sound effects. If you're wondering why I do this, it's because in the game there are some cutscenes that get activated after you enter to some stages and you have a specific amount of crystals and stuff like that. And if you do this, you deactivate those cutscenes, saving some seconds. So if you really enjoy to listen to game sound effects, maybe this is not gonna be the room for you. But if you really appreciate and enjoy to listen to video game music, video game soundtrack, guess what? This is gonna be a run that definitely you're gonna be like. Well, Crash 3, third game on the series, last platforming game of Crash Bandicoot developed by Naughty Dog, released in 1998, obviously for the PlayStation, because we have begun really good with a PlayStation blog, which I really appreciate a lot. That about RGL staff, because usually on speedrunning marathons, not so many events they used to give a section or a blog for PlayStation games, and being the first blog on marathon, and considering that I'm mainly a PlayStation runner, that has a special sentimental value for me. So I really appreciate that about RGL staff. And moving on into the run, let's go to the third stage of the game, and which is Orient Express, and the first stage where we're going to be playing Skoko, Crash's little sister. And here the mechanic is going to be slightly different. We're not going to be moving normally with her. Instead of that, we're going to be riding this little tiny tiger called Pura, which, well, you're going to be watching that I'm jumping randomly. But the third about that is that, believe it or not, jumping is slightly faster. The game runs at 30 FPS, and every jump that you make, you save 1 frame. And I mean, that doesn't have so much sense, but we need to remember that on every speedrunning, in every speed game, every frame counts, every frame matters, so the most frame we can save, the best. And let's see if I can get this skip here. I think that I haven't got it. I forgot to silence my. There we go! I got it! Good old skip. And well, I'm gonna explain what happened here. So as you have seen, I have a clip it on the top of the screen, on the front of the stage. And with this, I have made that the automatic jump that Pura with Coco and Coco does at the end of the stage gets slightly higher. And with this, I have reached the warping. I forgot I need to press button here. Sorry if somebody was using headphones about that. I was pretty excited because on recent marathons, when I have tried to get that, I haven't been able. So, well, I'm gonna. Sorry. I just. It's complicated for me sometimes to get that skip, and I'm really glad that I get it. So, And going back to explanation, if I make that flip and I can get that that the Pura's jump is slightly ahead than its usual, slightly high, and that's gonna make that I reach directly the warp room path, and with that I can save 5 seconds, because if you have played this game before, you will know that after that jump there's a cool animation between Coco and that's an unskippable animation. So if we were able to get that skip, we can save 5 seconds that takes that animation. And well, now stage 5, not so many things to mention about this. You just need to keep pressing the cross button, and that's all we need to do. This is a pretty boring stage on this category. And well, on a bit I'm gonna be explaining what does this category mean, because this is any person no item glitch, which is intended any person route of the game, which consists into getting all 25 crystals in the game and also defeating Neocortex, who is planning to use the energy of these things to dominate the world. And yes, nice input. Now it's time to go to the first stage of the game, and we're gonna be watching here the main movement mechanic, which is called neutral slide jump. Basically here, what am I doing is that obviously I'm performing a slide, and before the slide finishes, I'm gonna release the D-pad, because yes, I'm playing a 3D game with a D-pad, I'm rude. And well, I release the D-pad, and before the slide finishes, I'm gonna press the jump button. Why? Because with this, I can keep the speed of the slide on the air, and sliding in the game is faster than just regular walking. And also I'm gonna be trying to get as much invisibility pace as I can, because obviously you get invisibility, plus at the same time, Crash's speed is slightly faster. Maybe you have seen Crash Bandicoot 2 Speed vs. the Past, you will know that with the movement technique on that game, which is the neutral slide spin, if you get the invisibility pace, your speed gets slower. But in some way that was fixed here on Crash 3, so we don't move slower when we have invisibility pace. And after Third Village, let's move to Boneyard, stage number 4, the only stage that we haven't beaten on this game. This game is divided in 5 warp rooms. We can play any stage on any order. But for the speedrun route, what is gonna determine which route I'm gonna be taking are gonna be the masks. In this case I have 2 masks, and it's supposed that I will try to keep them. If I lose at least 1 mask, my route is gonna change on the next warp room. So it's really important to try to keep as much as you can, because while you get invisibility, on an invisibility pace, you can also move slightly faster. And also sometimes I'm gonna be mixing my neutral slide jump with zigzagging, which is basically mashing up left, up right, and vice versa. Because if you zigzag in the game, you can increase also your speed. Just for a little bit, but also that helps. So sometimes I'm gonna be doing that mixing between zigzagging and neutral slide jump to get the SS and SJ, which is again the mixing of both techniques. And so I need to be careful with the grass, because the grass slows you down. It's crystal edge. So this category is not required that I go for all the boxes, because the boxes give you gems, and the gems are not required for this category. So I think that once I begin with the next warp room, I'm gonna be explaining the plot of the game, and also why this is called no item glitch and all that kind of stuff. So here I have completed the first 5 stages of the game, and I don't know why I was gonna split it right now, but I have remembered that I'm using my splits right now. And once I got all 5 crystals, it's time to begin to fight to have the first boss fight, which is against Tiny Tiger. And here we're gonna have an interesting fight. It's not gonna let that the game plays the music from this stage. So it's pretty normal that right now there's no sound here. If I actually deactivated the sound effects, we're gonna get the sound effects, obviously. But in this case, if you skip really quick the introduction cutscene of this stage, the game's not gonna play the music tracks. Well, the music audio from this stage. It's gonna play the music anyway. This also happens on the PAL version, and on the Japanese release that was fixed. The Japanese release plays the music here. And well, obviously I'm using the American version of the game, which compared with the PAL release, the movement of crashes is lower, but PAL version is harder, so it's better just to run this game on the NTSCU version. I can also use the Japanese release on the game, but the problem that it has is that loading times are 0.3 seconds lower per each loading screen. So for this category, if you run the game with Japanese version, you're gonna lose 18 seconds. Well, second warproof. And in this case, this stage is really important that I can get. I can start this with 2 masks because this is the only mask that we're gonna be getting on this stage. And on that section with the rails, you can move slightly faster if you have invincibility phase. Also, I suppose that on the carpets I should be bouncing, but if I make a spin, I'm gonna avoid the bouncing animation, which is gonna help me into having more control of crash and crash movement. So with this, I shouldn't get problems trying to move around the stage like this. Otherwise, that's gonna happen, and that bounce can make that sometimes I can have some problems trying to complete that. This is just to avoid the bouncing and have a better control of crash. And after this, let's go to the next stage of this of the route, which is gonna be stage number 9. We have completed Hangame Hack, and well, let's talk about the plot of the game. This game begins once you complete Thresher 100%, when the Cortex Vortex station gets destroyed because of a part of the Cortex Vortex falls into the earth, and it releases Uka Uka, the evil twin of Akwaku, which is, well, Akwaku is the mask that is protecting us right now. And well, Uka Uka is the evil twin brother. And also, I don't need to activate the switch because with another light jump I can reach further sections of the game, or of the stage. And well, Uka Uka gets free from his prison, and then he meets Neocortex, and obviously Uka Uka is mad with Cortex because he gave specific instructions to Cortex in order to dominate the world, but he failed twice. But now, since he's not in his prison anymore, he feels a bit pleased, so he's gonna give a last chance to Cortex to dominate the world. And now they are using the Nephario's trophy time machine in order to travel around the world and time in order to collect the crystals, gems, and relics and use their power to dominate the world. And this is where the good guys, we need to use this time machine and get all this stuff before they are even get. For a moment I forgot which stage I was gonna take. In this case, the stage number 10. Which is Magnadron, another stage where we're going to be playing as Coco, and this is going to be the last stage where we're going to be playing... Okay, I forgot that I was able to clip there. It was a bit worried about that because I was saying, hey, what is happening with the game? But I forget that sometimes you can clip randomly there. And I remember that I used to do that back in 2007 when I found where I have left my PS1. And I discovered how to download games and burn them into CDs and put it on the console. Yeah, mine are on a slightly harder / longer stage, with the same thematic as Orient Express, but in this case, well, this is gonna be the last stage where we're gonna be playing as when I wanna be playing using Buddha. Well, that was the cool animation that I have skipped on stage 3. And after this, I'm gonna go to G-Wiz, stage number 6, which is the backup for this warp room because that stage gives to us 3 minutes. And now I'm gonna, sometimes if I keep quiet, it's because I'm gonna try to pretend that I'm getting concentrated. But the truth is sometimes I'm not gonna have nothing to mention, so we can enjoy the amazing soundtrack of the game. And suppose that on that gambling box that we got before, you get the second mask of the stage, but we don't require it because we already have the visibility page right now, and waiting for that mask is gonna make me lose like 2 seconds. But at the same time, I need to be careful in order to don't die or receive damage, in order to don't lose the masks. Later on the game, we're gonna have stages where you're gonna lose your mask by default because the game was designed with your masks in case that you have. So that's also something that affects the route that you're gonna be taking in the game. It's time to pretend that I'm getting concentrated. And also sometimes you will see that after I perform a jump, or maybe there are gonna be moments where I made a slide instead of a jump. And that's a problem with the game, because that's a signal that I gotta drop the input. Sometimes I get that with my slides, with my jumps, or even with my regular movements, because this game by nature drops a lot of inputs. That's something unfortunate with Crash Bandicoot games on PS1. That's a problem that this game has, that there are gonna be some frames where the game is gonna be dropping your inputs. You know, it's time to enjoy Hog Wild, a motorbike stage, which is basically a racing stage. In order to get the crystal here, what I need to do is that I need to finish on first place. Plus, the fastest way to move here is just to take those speed boosting panels on the road and trying to keep as much as I can on one wheel. It's gonna be the fastest way that I'm gonna be having. Okay, I made a mistake there, so oh well, it doesn't matter if we have here another those panels. There we go. And finish on finished place, we need to get our trophy, or well, in this case, our crest. And now it's time to face Dingodile, the second boss of the game. And we're gonna get introduced into another non-intended mechanic that in some way this got intended on 2017 remakes of the original trilogy, which is the higher jump. What I do here, because you cannot, I'm gonna show you that you cannot jump over this thing. So what do you need to do is that I perform a slide, and after that I press the jumping and spinning button at the same time. And with this, I'm gonna make that crush makes a higher jump than usual. And with this, I can save like a minute, because what the Dingodile does is that first, he's gonna throw some fireballs to outside of these walls that are protecting him in order to try to make damage to Crash. And after that, he's gonna start to destroy some sections on the wall. So with this, you can save like a minute instead of just waiting for the regular pace. And now, let's RNG moment. There we go, we're good. Why I have said that thing about blessing, or well, pray for a good RNG with the game. The reason why I have said that is because Doubleheader, stage 15, it's a stage that this stage can crash the game randomly. Why? I don't know. But based on other runners' words, they say that since there are a lot of elements that the game needs to do, sometimes the console can crash. I have seen that glitch uses to happen mostly in 105% runs, which are the full completion of the game. Fortunately, I have never got that crash at any moment. I just wanted to mention it anyways. And also, look that drop of frame rate. That drops on the frame rate. And also, as many PlayStation games, I'm running this on a PlayStation 2 because the PlayStation 2 can have a mode called Fast Easy Speed, which makes that PS1 disc spins faster and you can reduce loading times. For this category, I think that this saves like 2 minutes with standard loading times. Yes, we're going for speed. Dynamite stage 11. And now we need to put attention on this, because we're gonna be watching something really amazing, something that we have never seen on any video game before. This is gonna be something that was featured for the first time on 1998, because Sony, as always, has been a pretty intelligent company that has looked into innovating in video gaming industry, and we're gonna be watching something for the first time that we are not able to do, what that we weren't able to do in any other video game before 1998. And that's gonna be riding a dinosaur, because yes, we're riding a dinosaur on a platforming game because this is really original and Sony made first this in 1990. This doesn't save time, and I just do it for swag purposes. And with the zigzag you can save like a half of a second anyways. I prefer to move here slightly safe because I'm really aware about my abilities on those sections where there are nature boxes close. And I'm really sure that if somebody is curious about what's gonna happen, I will prefer to don't do it, because that's gonna mean that I'm gonna lose time. And I don't wanna lose time. I don't wanna miss a thing. And I don't wanna close my eyes, because if I close them, I'm gonna be watching what I'm gonna be doing. And since I don't have sound effects, it's gonna be kinda complicated to try to guess what I'm doing in the game. Now it's stage 13, I used to forget the name of the stages, so I hope you can apologize me. It's supposed that I used to have my splits open. For some reason I forget to do that. Oh well, I'm the kind of person who never remembered their breakfast, so whatever. So again, trying to pretend that I'm getting focused. And also because the music this stage is kinda good. Not my favorite, and I have lost a mask, but it doesn't matter because on this stage I don't used to go for the visibility bait. So I'm pretty... well, I'm glad that I have lost the mask there. That wasn't like a problem for me. And also that's a good reminder for me that I need to learn the invisibility pace of this stage. Well, how to do this with the invisibility pace. And also, every time that I defeat a boss, I'm gonna be unlocking a new power-up. In this case, after I defeated a Tiny Tiger, I got the Super Body Slam that just increases the power of my Body Slam and extends its range a little bit, and I don't know what I have to on that. Okay, it's okay. Very good. The other stage doesn't require masks, so it's fine that I have died there. Doesn't matter. What I was saying? I forgot what I was saying. I have said that I'm the kind of person who never breakfast and point. I don't remember what happened. On that case, my D-pad has trolled me. Yes, I also have an original copy of this game, which is the one that I'm using right now on my console. But I bought this game like 3 years ago. Alright, I needed to stop for a bit because I forgot the route that I was taking. Because yes, I forgot to practice this game, so we can consider this as a D-Rust and a marathon run at the same time. So this is a double prize, ladies and gentlemen. This is gaming on Retro Gaming Live TV. Remember to follow the channel to keep enjoying a lot of amazing retro gaming content. And also, this stage is considered as a backup because here we just have this single mask. And if I should have reached this section having 2 masks instead of having the mask box, I was gonna get a question mark box that was gonna give me 10 Wumpa fruit. But you cannot, unfortunately, you cannot get the invisibility phase under the water. In some way, you could think about that. That's something. That should be something. Okay. In my situation, from Mexico, so back in the day, was really common that if you have a PS1, most of your games were not so legal versions of them. But I used to have the 5 Crash games, obviously on a not so legal way, but nowadays now I have a original copy of the game. But being honest, if I should have got this game original copy of this game when I was a kid, maybe that disc hasn't survived until today. More biking with a road crash, which is the second of 4 stages that this game has, talking about the racing stages. But it's a theory we just watched. So if we are based on that, while this is the second motorbike stage, this is the most annoying because it's not the longest one, but the amount of obstacles and the annoying enemies are a big problem sometimes to try to complete this on the first place. If you're like me, obviously. But yeah, in general, even top runners mentioned that the game. This stage in the game is kinda annoying. My PB on this category is 51 minutes and 7 seconds. And the reason why this is called no item glitch is because, like with Crash 2, there's a glitch that if you follow some specific requirements, you can trick into the game, and the game's gonna give you all the crystals, gems, and relics without even trying to go for them. So that's the item glitch. And in this case, the glitch at any percent, which is called just any percent, consists into getting all the 25 crystals with this glitch. Which is not so interesting comparing to the way that you did things in Crash 2. Oh, well, that's another storyboard maybe. Yeah, I prefer to play games on original consoles, or at least trying to replicate as much as I can a console. But emulation is really good. It helps a lot when we talk about the gaming preservation. It's now in first place, but I'm not gonna feel comfy about that because there has been some times in the past when I feel a bit comfy, and just when I reach this point, another NPC crosses on my way and they take the first place. And now, let's face Nephario's trophy. This is a new boss in the game. Tiny Tiger and Dingodile were featured. No, wait, Dingodile is new also. Tiny Tiger was featured in Crash. Well, it's supposed that this guy created the time machine that we are using to get all this stuff before he and Cortex are able to get them. And also, we get a similar glitch with the music, but just in this case, the music gets deleted. You just have noticed. This also happens in the Japanese release version of the game. I'm not gonna give him the crystals. I'm not gonna give anybody the crystals. Maybe after this run, Crash is gonna visit a pawn shop. Well, as you have seen, the way that we defeat this guy. 1, 2, 3, and there we go. He's gonna throw first some kid balls, and then he's gonna be throwing some lasers to where we are, trying to defeating us. But again, we are more intelligent in this situation. That this is not like a real problem. and we get a tornado spin. Also, when I defeated Dingo Dial, I got double jump. And here, the tornado spin, what does this make is that this extends my spinning, so I can land with style. Yes, backup boots. For a moment, I forget which was the backup route for this. I take stage 18, which is another motorbike stage. Which, again, really boring, but this stage gives you one mask, and you cannot use the invisibility phase on Coco stages. We need to keep going. We need to keep pressing the cross button, and that's all that we need to do on this stage. Again, I'm just trying to pretend that I'm getting concentrated. Here we have the only mask box in this stage, and I need to be careful in order to not receive damage. And I need to mention that I need to be really careful, not in this section, because I know how trolls are these guys. And so I decided to slow down there just to be a bit safe. Here lies a crystal, and you can see here how I got stuck because I pressed the left button on the D-pad before the correct moment. And also, probably you have noticed that at the beginning of the run, I mentioned that I'm playing this with a D-pad. The reason why I do this is because, unfortunately, on most PlayStation games, talking about the PS1, most of the games are really, well, the analog stick is really slow, so you can move slightly faster with the D-pad. And if you don't believe me that I'm not using the analog stick, this is my control. If you're wondering why I have done that, I don't know. Let's just say that I run out of ideas about what I can do here while I'm meaning doing the run. Anyway, Tom Waiter, the important stage on talking about keeping the masks. Here, I used to mention, and I really like to use this stage as the best example you can have, talking about how you can show, well, how that this stage can be used as an example to show how important does the invisibility phase is, because this stage has just one mask. And we have seen here that we have this water rising up and down. So what happens when I get the invisibility phase? Well, it's gonna happen 3 things. Well, 4 things. First of all, obviously I'm gonna get an invisibility phase. The enemies cannot take any damage. Second, I'm gonna be moving slightly faster. Third, but not less important, the water is not gonna rise up. The cycles are gonna keep running on the background, but it's not gonna affect me. And also, there are walls that get closed after some cycles. Those doors never get closed. So also with that thing with the cycles, I really need to be careful, because if the invisibility phase finishes in the moment when the cycle, when the water is gonna rise up begins, obviously the water is gonna rise up and I'm gonna lose a life. So I need to be careful on those things also. And that's why I prefer sometimes to get a bit safer, mostly when we are playing these on marathons. Now, I had the fat model of the PS1, but I never got any of these only digital controllers. Something curious about that is that since I was a kid, I used to act like a kind of rebel, or I don't know how to define that, but I don't used to follow trendings or trying to do what most people should do. In this case, with the PS1 controller, even when I had the controller with the analog stick, I preferred to play with the D-pad. Why? I don't know. I just wanted to play with it, but that was how I used to play it and how I like to play. Spicinator, stage 16. Maybe this is my favorite track in all the game. And let's see if the game decides to don't troll me. If the games troll me, I'm gonna lose some time, but it's gonna be fine. I have all of this considered into my estimate. So bless RNG. Bless, let's pray for the RNG. Yes, the game trolled. And on the second attempt I got it, nice. Just when I have lots of mists. So I just was trying to do that skip, but sometimes I used to mess up with my inputs. It's not complicated to get. I just have some butter thumbs. So sometimes I used to have this kind of problems trying to get some stuff in the game, but it's fine. It's not a problem. Or not a big problem at all. And again, concentration timing. But I'm just trying to make that. I'm trying to simulate that, so you will you're not gonna notice that I'm not getting focused, and I just run out of commentary. That's still like it. And yes, look to that monkeys. Run is going decent, just 2 deaths. But considering my abilities on the game, this is going like in a 50 to 53 pace. Now, Future Prince, it's supposed that on this stage I was gonna use it in the miserability pace, but Spicinator decided to troll me. And also I don't need to wait for that steam walls. Well, for this laser beam walls, I just can skip, then moving around. Yes, game decided to don't give me. What the? Okay, I don't know what happened there, but the game is like drop the inputs that I was trying to get in order to get the tornado spin correctly. Match. No, on this stage we have a good mix of very interesting obstacles, platforms, and kind of thing like this moving platform that after some seconds they're just gonna move in a way that I'm not gonna be able to stand over them. But in that case I was slightly faster, so that wasn't like a problem. But in this case it doesn't matter that if I lose the mask, because the next stage I'm gonna be playing is gonna equip me all my masks by default. Which is stage 17, Bye Bye Dreams. I used to play that as my last stage due to that reason. Yeah, I also prefer Crash Bandicoot 2. If I'm honest, speedrunning talking, I don't like so much Crash 3, but I'm slightly better on Crash 3 than on Crash 2. Maybe for next year I'm gonna practice and prepare and Crash 2. Well, also if Retro Gaming Live staff allows me to participate in this event. They're gonna be the judges here, and they're gonna decide if I wanna run it. So, bye-bye blimps. The mechanic changes again. We play as Coco, and also we need to get ready because to say goodbye to Coco because this is gonna be the last stage where we're gonna be playing as her. So here, obviously, as the name of the stage suggests, we're gonna destroy these blimps. There are 7 in total. These AI characters are not like a problem. Every hit they make just cause me a percentage of damage. I have these balloons with health that I'm not gonna require to catch them, so I'm just gonna ignore them. Just gonna try to destroy all of this. Yeah, honestly, there are a lot of things about remakes that I haven't liked a lot. For example, these stages are really easier on the remakes. And you can aim in a better way on the remakes. And then got the crystal. And goodbye, Coco. It was a pleasure for us to have your company in our journey to save. Now, engine. And sorry, everybody. This is really the last stage that we're gonna be playing as Coco. This is the only boss fight where we use Scare. And well, I like to call this real game boss because you will see the reason later with Neocortex stage. And this boss fight is divided into phases. And this first phase, we need to destroy these parts of the mecha machine of engine, which is not complicated. It's not so hard to do this, as you have seen. And now Puda is gonna come back and is gonna help to us to increase our the power of our shootings. Or more sections to destroy and also more things to avoid. Getting focus mode. I'm pretty impressed that I haven't received damage on the first phase because on my last time when I practiced this, I used to receive damage there. Kaboom! And also the Japanese version of the game, for some reason the game can crash here. I don't know why, but it happened. Well, I am not gonna say that the remake is better than the original game, talking about CDR. Both games are good. I prefer to play the original one, but I'm not gonna deny that Nitro Fuel it's a really good remake. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case with Insane Trilogy. So, getting back into the game. The real pace killer, the real nightmare of the game, Bye Bye Blimps, was just like a kind of tutorial stage. Because Mad Bombers is the real nightmare. Why? Because now we have this plane, we need to destroy the motors. These are these things have a very small hitbox, very small section where we can do this thing. And now the enemies can make us like between 2 to 4% of damage per each hit they make to us. And at this stage they are more aggressive, so there's a high chance that I try to catch one of the health boxes. Yeah, honestly, I would have preferred that instead of adding CNK tracks to CDR Nitrofield, they will have made a remake of that game. But unless I have a hope that in the future they release a DLC with the Crash Nitro Kart teaser mode, which will be really amazing. But again, we need to remember that Crash rights are owned by Activision, so we cannot expect so much about them. Like when when IGN make Devs React speedruns and they call the developers of Crash 4, it's about time they saw a speedrun using some glitches. And a couple of days later, guess what? A new update patching all of those glitches. So yeah, you cannot expect so much from Activision. I'm gonna die, dude. Hold on, we can make it! Box Light, stage 25, we're gonna receive that. Invincibility replace and masks. We have 4 masks in this stage. I need to be careful there because sometimes the game likes to drop my input just in the hole when I'm close to. I mean, here I have got my first mask. That maybe I'm gonna be losing later on purpose because when you receive damage, when you have the mask, some cycles get a freeze for a bit. For example, here, let's see if I can get a good timing. Okay, I haven't got it. Because here I was gonna receive damage in order to prevent that door get closed. I stopped playing Nitrofield because I got the Switch version because my PS4 was dead. And I stopped playing it because the online mode on the Nintendo Switch was there. It was kinda complicated to find or get some matches. And if the lobby or here host its lobby, you lost the connection and you need to wait until the game find another lobby. That's the only bad thing about Nitrofield, the online mode. Besides of that, the game is good. You know, the game Nitrofield was released for the PS4, Xbox One, and Switch at the same time. That has been the only remake, or well, the only modern Crash Bandicoot game this generation of consoles was released simultaneously on the Switch because Inside Trilogy was released first in 2017 for the PS4, and then the Xbox One, Switch, and PC version were released on. And in 2019, we got a Crash Team Racing Nitrofield in PS4, Switch, and Xbox One. No PC port yet. And we Crash Bandicoot 4, first PS4 and Xbox One, and then PC, PS5, Switch, and Series X and S. It's better to try to do some things. Okay, I was trying to make some swag movement there, and I failed at the end. And also, when I defeated the engine, I got that fruit bazooka. And PS4 got exclusive content for Nitrofield. They got the retro skins that I would like to have. I mean, I know I own a new PS4, but I barely use it, and I don't have PS Plus. And a friend lent me his account, so I was play CTR Nitrofield PS4. But I was too lazy to unlock everything again. Now, Flaming Passion, also known as Flaming. The reason behind that, you're gonna notice it later on the stage. This is not because the stage is long or something like that, or well, I'm gonna mention the reason why some people like to call it like that. The reason behind that is because this stage has no Agu masks, so that means that there's no invisibility phase here. And yeah, but it's fine. I'm used to completely seven without masks. And this looks like a 53 page. Honestly, I don't know what I have done that, but I have done that. You have seen. I have made. I made something that I shouldn't have done. In which were the results? That was the result about doing that. And yes, another drop input. Nice. Maybe this is gonna be a sub 50. This is not gonna be. Hardly this is gonna be a low 50. Now you have understand also another reason why this stage is called like. Oh my god, I don't know why this is happening to me, but I still have a good amount of lives and I have a decent estimate, so this shouldn't be a problem anyways. So yeah, you now get the point about why this stage is called like that. And I apologize if somebody felt uncomfortable or offended with that. That wasn't my intention. Because this category is also called any person no IG. This had another name, but Twitch thought that that was something inappropriate. So now this category is called any person. Well, it's any person not in glitch, or to abbreviate it, any person no IG. And as a non-native English speaker, it took some time for me to understand the reason behind that. And when I discovered that, I said, "Oh, okay, now I get the point." Yep, there's a fruit bazooka. You can see here. It's a fruit bazooka. It's a bazooka that shoots fruit. Meaning that this is a bazooka. A fruit bazooka. You unlock it after you defeat an engine. And if you want to feel better, when I was a kid, since my English skills were kinda low to barely something, I never knew that. Yeah, it was a kind of challenge to try to understand some games in the past because they were never released in Spanish. That was something that started to be a thing on the sixth generation of consoles. The early 2000s. But yeah, for some games we needed to use an English to Spanish dictionary to try. Obviously, we made some bad translations, but in some way we understood some kind of stuff to do. But something good about platforming games is that you don't need to read so much in order to understand what you need to do. Yeah, this is gaming. Well, Orange Asphalt, stage 22, last stage that we need to complete. And we're gonna be able to face Neocortex, which is kind of not awkward, but maybe boring at least for me boss fight. But at least it gives you Crash 1 vibes, and you will see that later. It's not supposed that I was gonna do that. Yeah, this is gonna be like a 55. That's on blaming passion weren't so weird. Now, last we have got alternate crystals. Now it's time to face Neocortex, and again, Crush One bites. But we're not having Buckmaster fighting here, so we need to avoid their fight, or otherwise we're gonna die. So first, Neocortex is gonna throw those laser beams. And after that, he's gonna throw some mines. But after he throws the mines, his shield is gonna get deactivated for a bit. So that's gonna be the moment where we're gonna make him damage. The reason why that happens is because it's supposed that his laser gun gives him that shield. So it looks like there was a problem with his gun. And while he was trying to fix that, we were able to make him damage. And also for some reason the middle of the stage gets open, so this is the way that you're gonna throw him. Also, something bad about this, and I was so close to die with the second mine, is that the mines are RNG. The position where the mines are gonna spawn are RNG based. Well, the position where Neocortex is gonna throw the mines. And we're gonna use a little manipulation here in order to save a couple of seconds and be a bit safer, because now on this last phase, the masks are gonna go where just Crash is, and are gonna try to. Okay, I failed what I was trying to do, but okay, this is what I was gonna do. So they're gonna go where Crash is. So if I failed there, but what I was trying to do is that I was gonna be in a position where it's time. I was trying to get into a spot where the mask destroyed the mine. So with that, I was gonna be able to defeat slightly faster Cortex, and well, the time finishes when you skip the text box where the game tells to you that you have unlocked the speed boost that makes you run. Usually that's something useful on time trials, casual talking, but with neutral slide jump you can even get times on time trial. Now we got hit the bad ending where it's supposed that Neocortex is gonna tell to us that he cannot believe that he was defeated again, and that now he has a big headache, that maybe taking some vacations on an island with a soda should be something good for him because he needs to take a break. And then Uka Uka tells to us that we haven't defeated him yet because we need to get the rest of elements. In this case, crystal. So we got all the crystals, we haven't got the relics and gems. So once we get all of those things, we need to face them in order to unlock the real ending of the game, which is supposed that from that point the new Crash Bandicoot game that was released last year. And well, this was Crash Bandicoot Warped, any version not in Bleach. I really hope you have enjoyed the run. And well, this is the first day of the marathon. We're still having a good amount of amazing runs to watch, and also we're still having some runs to enjoy here on this PlayStation block. Again, I really appreciate that Retro Gaming Live staff began the marathon with a PlayStation block. That really means a lot to me. And also I'm really happy that they gave me the opportunity of being featured in this event, because on the first edition made in 2018, I also have run this game. And well, it's nice to me to be back here with the game. Also, I was able to do some strats that I wasn't able to do back in that day, and also my microphone was so bad on 2018, and now I have a decent one. And I hope that also enjoying my commentary attempt, trying to show that there are some stuff that I can mention about the game where really there are some points where you get without any kind of things to mention. But my participation doesn't finish here. I'm gonna be back on Wednesday on the NES block with Snow